Blue-green deployment is when you run two identical production environments and you shift traffic from the old one to the new one. And for whatever reasons, the colors are blue and green. I have no idea who chose them, but that's what it is. So the blue, the old environment, could terminate after a successful health check or remain running for a defined period of time in the case of rollback, or blue could require manual intervention to terminate the old environment. The blue-green examples down below is not what Elastic Beanstalk actually does, but these are general examples of blue-green deployment elsewhere because I want you to understand that just what Elastic Beanstalk calls blue-green is not necessarily what blue-green is in the rest of AWS. So an example of a blue-green change at the DNS level is where you'd have two load balancers and two environments backed by load balancers, and at the DNS level, a Route 53 would point the record to another load balancer. Another way of doing blue-green deployment is that you're switching at the auto-scaling group level. And I actually think that, no, maybe not. I thought maybe Immutable does this, but it doesn't. But the point is that what you could do is you spin up a new auto-scaling group, and then the load balancer points to the new target group. So these both could be considered blue-green deployment, and then the scope of what the environment is different. Now let's take a look at actually what blue-green deployment means in the context of Elastic Beanstalk. So if we're talking about immutable, which is an in-place deployment, what you can see here is that it's happening within our environment. So it's considered in place because it's within our environment, but it's also considered blue-green because it's switching from a new auto-scaling group to the old auto-scaling group. I just said a moment ago it doesn't do that, but it actually does do that now that I'm thinking about it. So is this in place or is it blue-green? And that's where this confusion comes from. Now, the other method for blue-green deployment here within Elastic Beanstalk, and this is actually what they call blue-green deployment, is when you literally provision an entirely new environment. So it's not the fact that it's a DNS, it's at the DNS level. It is at the DNS level, but it's the fact that you've spun up another Elastic Beanstalk environment. So blue-green with EB requires that your database is outside the Elastic Beanstalk environments because the environments are terminated with the loss of all the resources. So that is just another thing to consider. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing, but the point is that these terms are, even within AWS, used very loosely. So there you go.